Stop.
We ain't hen. We come
Stop.
out the coop. Sometimes
Stop.
I get backed up, I gotta poop.
Stop it! You say one more line, and I'm gonna have to smoke myself!
You know guys, before I start today's video, it needs to be said again. I apologize if the voice is very nasally and off-putting right now because I am very much still under the weather. And while a lot of the gooch lickers and a lot of these soy boy beta cuck fanboys of COD are probably praying that I do not get better and that I continue suffering, you know, as a result of me being sick and not going to class, not going to work, I've had more time to read some of these bozos' comments and replies on Twitter. And guys, the absolute masterclass that I've been on recently in response to a lot of these idiots has truly been a sight to see. And seeing as how they really do not like it when I talk about the COD numbers on Steam or what trends and statistics will point to when it comes to the state and health of Call of Duty, you know, they're probably gonna get really upset with me trying to put in one of these COD is done or COD is dead type of titles and thumbnails, so I figured, why not just do it again? Because the report that we just received about Call of Duty's health 4 or 5 days after Verdansk's re-release has officially come out, and as you expected, every gooch slicker and fanboy under the sun seemingly thinks this is some sort of gotcha moment for people that quote-unquote think the Steam numbers represent the overall player count of Call of Duty. Guys, does Steam represent the overall player base for Call of Duty? Obviously, motherfucking not. But before I get into it, guys, I'm gonna need you to do me a favor, please. For the Scat Master's well-being and health, please leave a like on today's video, subscribe if you're new. You already know what to do down in the comments below. Hashtag Fooly50. We're on the way to 50,000 subscribers. We're about to hit 44K, which is awesome. But anyways, guys, this originally comes out from the Ghost of Hope, but I'm not gonna show his tweets yet because I think we'll cover him in great depth later. So instead, we're gonna get Doug's version of this, guys. This is a tweet that comes out from Doug Dimmadome Warzone.
Fuck you, Doug!
New, Activision is reportedly excited with the numbers they've seen for players returning and playing Warzone after the launch of Verdansk. The update has exceeded expectations and Xbox Game Pass and PlayStation Store numbers are off the charts compared to before. Wow, guys. Who would have ever thought the numbers would rise with the re-release of Verdansk? Guys, how many times have you heard me say, hey, when they release Verdansk, the numbers are going to skyrocket? I've had to have said that statement like 6-7 times in the weeks leading to Verdansk coming back, so this is literally like the least surprising news I could have ever received when it comes to Call of Duty's popularity post re-release of Verdansk. Obviously, the player numbers are going to go up. Nobody has ever argued against that. What I have argued multiple times, and it's still my case today, is that despite the boost in the player count and popularity, not only is it still unimpressive for where Call of Duty used to be, but this boost in the player count is only temporary, and it's not gonna last as long as people think. Now, I gave it a couple of weeks, but after the weekend, the numbers have already begun dropping. And unfortunately, I can't show you what the numbers are on Steam for 2 reasons. Number 1, apparently weekdays don't count. I don't know why, but I guess because people go to work, then they don't play the goddamn game, which if you're a casual and you get off of work and you play COD, that just sounds like the biggest load of bullshit I've ever goddamn heard. And 2, there is a new assertion out here in the Call of Duty community as of a couple days ago that Steam does not count at all. So let's put this in perspective very, very quickly. First, it was that Steam does not count on Thursday launch day because it's Thursday. Then they tell me Friday doesn't count because it's still a work day. Then they see the boost on Saturday and Sunday, and now it counts. And then when Monday comes around, it no longer counts, and actually it counts even less than Friday. And then here on Tuesday, guys, the player count actually dropped even more. The player count only peaked at 97,000, and I know, it doesn't count because it's a Tuesday, and it's a work day, it's a school day, it's copium day. I get it, man.
Sorry.
Now guys, things got extremely interesting when the Ghost of Hope actually came out with another tweet talking about people who keep bringing up Steam charts thinking it says anything valuable about the state of Call of Duty. When not even like 4 or 5 days before, Call of Duty has now reached its highest player count on Steam in 2025, passing 112,000 players on launch day of Verdansk, and everybody was gassing this shit up. So in the span of 5 days, it goes from counting and being worthy of news and praise to no longer counting because apparently the Steam numbers do not indicate anything about the player base of Call of Duty. Now here is my rebuttal. 2 things. Actually, like 3 things. First of all, if this is the only measurable data that we have to indicate anything about Call of Duty, why would we just ignore it and pretend it doesn't exist? I don't know. Number 2, I don't really care about the numbers as much as you think. I'm more concerned with the trend and slope, specifically when it comes to the decreases that you see in it, because no matter what the number is, no matter how many people are on Steam compared to other platforms, the drop in the player count, that trend, it's going to be very similar on other platforms. Obviously, those other platforms have more players, but if the numbers on Steam dropped by, let's pretend 10%, then again, just the way basic statistics work, basic data collection that society has used for decades. If I look at PlayStation, there is more than likely a 10% drop over there too. Now guys, what gets really crazy is this. This is a tweet that comes out from Charlie Intel's personal account. The problem with Steam charts is that Steam is the smallest Call of Duty platform. Non-verifiable, by the way. It's PlayStation, Xbox, then Battle.net, then PC Game Pass, and then at the smallest group is Steam. So if Steam even sees a slight jump, that means the other platforms are doing pretty well too. And guys, this is the 3rd point I was trying to make in response to the copium about Steam charts. This is my response to Charlie Intel. Would that then mean if Steam sees a drop, would other platforms not be doing as well too? Since it works the other way around, of course. And genuine question, what would you say the percentage is of people on Steam?
Now listen!
Now, I've already gone through the trouble of dancing circles around these people that seemingly think when the Steam numbers increase, then all of Call of Duty's player counts increase, but when the Steam numbers drop, apparently that does nothing to the other Call of Duty numbers. I've already danced circles around these morons with this point, but the big question I have, and I have this for the Ghost of Hope as well, what do you think the percentage is for people on Steam? I've heard people say 10 to 15%. I've heard people say 20%. I've heard people say 25%. I've seen some people say 5%. And the super hardcore copium inhalers seemingly think Steam accounts for 1%.
Huh?
Nobody has this answer, but I'll tell you something. Unless you're in complete Call of Duty defense mode, like you'll literally take a bullet for Activision and Bobby fucking Cosby, you're more than likely not saying 1%, okay? Anybody with a brain will tell you, no, Steam, there's no way Steam accounts for 1% of the player base. But at the same time, if you're a fucking bozo like this guy over here who thinks Steam is a 1/4 of the player base, then it becomes very easy to tell you what the player count officially is. You see, with a peak of 138,000 on Steam, if you were to tell me that Steam accounts for 25% of the player base, which is fucking stupid, that means the entire 100% of the player count is 552,000 across all platforms, 4 premium titles and Warzone all combined, which is obviously ass. If you were to tell me it's 5% of the player base, then the overall player count for all of these platforms combined and all of these titles and Warzone put together would be around 2 million, which if that's impressive to you, that's cool, man. I remember the days where Black Ops 1 or Black Ops 2 on PS3 alone would have like 3, 4, 5 million on one day. And that's one single solo title, by the way. You see, this is why you can't just disregard Steam as a player base, because if you try to make that point to me, I'm gonna dance circles around you and make you look like a fucking moron. And guys, if it's not bad enough that the Ghost of Hope and some of these other gooch slickers are out here talking about, oh, Steam doesn't count, oh, if you think Steam counts, that just means you're stupid. It doesn't even mean anything for Call of Duty. Look, I get it. Everybody has their days. If you want to reduce your IQ to that of a pebble, look, that's your choice. But then you have all of these stupid, illogical fanboys that run with this, think it's some sort of gotcha moment, and then when they present it to me and they tell me, yo, Steam is only 10% of the player base, so it really doesn't mean anything. Well, that's great, man. Congratulations on telling me what the entire player base is from your understanding of how this data works.
Dumbass!
And then they'll say something stupid like, oh, it doesn't matter if the player count drops on Steam, but then somehow magically it does count when it goes up. Wow, man, good job. And then apparently it doesn't count on weekdays except for Thursdays and Fridays, and very specifically not Mondays, because Mondays are the worst days, even though Tuesday's even lower. It gets to the point where these gooch slickers start trying to go out of their way to talk shit. And I can't read off or repeat half of the shit that I said to some of these people in the comments and on Twitter, but I'll just put up something of like a montage of all of the screenshots that I personally have. There's significantly so many more people that I have replied to, but these are just some of the worst ones. There's people that think they can outsmart me with their horrible take on how data works. There's people that don't know how to speak English. They're very, very illiterate. There's some people that gave me some threats. One of these people were a woman on YouTube and then magically became a man on Twitter. At its core, it's literally just a bunch of retards. We even have people like 8 Thoughts. I don't know if he's drinking too much. I don't know if the Bosley's not working to give him some more hair. But the guy's on his weird crusade again where everybody's copying him, everybody's rage baiting. And then we got people that think I'm doing this for views. And what's crazy is a lot of people think that I'm doing this for money. Guys, if I were doing this for money, then this is what I would tell YouTube. I would tell them, hey guys, if zookeepers in the US make $38,000 a year, how come you can't give me an extra $38,000 a year on top of what I'm already making? When I'm out here taming all of these stupid chimpanzees in my comment section and on Twitter,
Hello, monkeys!
none of these people make any logical sense whatsoever. All of the people that I've responded to make all of you fanboys that maybe might have a good point here and there look stupid. Half of them can't spell, the other half can't do basic math. Some of them go out of their way to try to insult me and then I fucking destroy them. You guys need better representatives. It's not gonna be the Ghost of Hope or Charlie Intel or Doug Dimmadome Warzone either.
Fuck you, Doug!
Because when confronted and I tell them, hey, if that's the case, what's the percentage of people on Steam from your perspective? They go mute. The shade and shit talk stops magically because they know they would not be able to get out of it. Guys, once again, let me make it very, very clear. Steam does not account for the overall player base of Call of Duty. That takes common sense to understand. However, the peaks and valleys of the Steam charts, the trends and the slopes, they will match on any other platform. That's just how it works. Don't blame me. Go blame the mad scientists and arithmetic, algebra, mathematical motherfuckers from like 7 decades ago. Get mad at them. I didn't create the way it works. That's just how it is. And now that this video is finally coming to an end, I have a very, very simple question. At any point in this video did I say Warzone and Verdansk are bad, they suck, it's not good, or that it shouldn't exist? No, that never came out of my mouth. It never will come out of my mouth because Verdansk, honestly, was kind of enjoyable. But is it going to save Call of Duty? And are these numbers impressive? No, both of those things can be true at the same time. But that's gonna do it for me today, guys. I'm curious to know what you guys think about all this. What do you think the percentage is of people that are on Steam versus every other platform? Let me know down in the comments below, and if you enjoyed today's video, make sure to leave a like, subscribe if you're new, hit the bell notifications to stay up to date with my newest videos. And yeah, guys, it's been the boy Fooly. Have yourselves a good one. I'm out of here. Peace.
This ain't in my body.